So I kind of just, yeah, that's a good idea. So I kind of just in my notes brain dumped where my mindsets were at, what tangibles I could offer you guys, what books might help you change and shift the mindset so that you can get into the right mindset, right? So you can get to grow your business and be where you want to be in this organization and in this amazing company. So we're going to walk through just in the beginning, MMP, right? You just started the business, you're fresh and you're new, you don't really know what's going on. And your first three ranks pretty much, I feel like is not that complicated. You're just selling products, right? And we do this all the time. We sell things all the time. What makes this new chapter challenging is the fact that now you're navigating waters that you've never been in, right? You've never been in the spotlight, maybe. You've never been on social media in the way that this business requires you to be on social media. Maybe you've never spoken in front of people. Maybe you've never hosted an event, right? So what's really important when you start is that what you focus on expands. It's important to know what you have, right? In this business, I feel like I excelled and I did really well because I understood what was right in front of me. Okay. You don't need to know every single product to know that you have good products, right? You don't need to know every single thing that we have to know these products perform because there's tons of results, right? And all it took for me was just using the shampoo and conditioner. I was like, okay, game over. This is going to become super easy. Like, let's go, right? And you don't need to know all the ins and outs of how people make money and how this technically works in and out because of the fact that we have over 100+ millionaires, because of the fact that our Smart Start is very clear, right? Our compensation plan shows you exactly what you need to know. You know what I knew when I started? How to make a block. How to get $150. I was like, okay, so if I want $150, I need to get 4 VIPs and 1 market partner. And every time I get those 4 VIPs, I'm also getting $60. That is all I knew when I started, right? So what's right in front of us? Products that perform using technology and patented ingredients. Generous pay. If you guys don't know, industry standard is paying 30 cents per every dollar the company makes. Our company makes $1 and they pay out 50 cents for that dollar. So it's pretty generous, right? That's not industry standard and it's not normal, right? This is a company that is super young, you guys. When I started, we were 4 years old. Money is 9 years old now. Baby company. Think about the fact that in 50 years, Monate will be almost 60 years old, and it's going to be in a lot of showers at that point. Right now, you have the way where you can talk about it and bring it up. And still, I talk to people to this day that have no idea what Monate is, right? So there's that perspective, right? And then there might be the other perspective or the other narrative that some of you have in your mind when you start. Oh my God, these products are so expensive. Oh, there's bad press, which by the way, newsflash, every single company has bad press. Go in the chat right now and write one product that exists that every single person loves. Please let me know, what is a product that every single person loves? It does not exist, okay? So another thing that people say, oh, no one wants to spend XYZ. No one's going to spend this money in this economy. I can't do this. And a big one, so-and-so is saying XYZ, right? So-and-so is talking crap about me behind my back. They're making fun of me. By the way, my sorority sisters were bad-mouthing me on Twitter. Like the most public platform possible with absolutely no shame. And you know what I did? I just bless and release, block. What I can't see cannot affect me. So if you need to block people, then that's what you're going to have to do. Because you know what, at the end of the day, it's not your business what people think of you. And I now understand that people project their own insecurities onto you. And you know what it is? They would never have the courage to do what you are trying to do. It takes a lot of, I'm sorry, but balls to show up, being vulnerable about your situation, about how you want change and about how you are going to do that. It takes guts, and people don't have that. Okay. I want you to remember that generational wealth starts with one risk taker, and that's you. And that I know that that's me, right? One risk taker. And you have to also think like, okay, this business is not going to be for everybody, but it is for somebody. And that's who I'm going to keep showing up for. That's who I keep showing up for to this day, because I know for a fact that this business changed my entire life. So when you're new, it is so important to expose yourself to the success stories, because if you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know people's stories and what they've had to overcome, you're not going to hear one story, one successful Monat story where it was rainbows and butterflies. Success doesn't happen like that. It takes failure. It takes mistakes. It takes grit. And that's what a lot of people don't have. And that's why people, they stay employees. Okay. So your perception of this business is either going to be your passport out of your situation or the prison that keeps you in the same place. And you have to understand that in this business, you're going to go nowhere super fast if you can't do these few things. Okay. Or if you have these few qualities, right? If you have a cup is half empty mindset, you cannot have a cup is half empty mindset. Your mindset in this business needs to be, oh, the cup is half full. Oh, I'm almost there. I got one sale. I'm so excited. One person trusted me. I had 3 conversations. You could look at it and say like, oh, I only have 1 VIP. This is horrible. I'm never going to get anywhere. Oh, I've only had 3 conversations, right? Like, come on. You got to have a cup is half full mindset. Number 2, if you aren't conscious of the company that you keep, oh, guys, this is a big one, because a lot of people don't realize that their circle is a cage and the energy around them affects them. You are the result of the people around you. So if you sit with 5 millionaires, you're going to become the 6th millionaire. If you're sitting at a table and everyone's complaining and everyone's gossiping, more than likely you're probably doing the same thing, right? Number 3, you don't know why you're doing this. Why are you doing this? If you don't know why you're doing this, you're sitting in a car, just driving and doing donuts. You're literally going nowhere. The GPS has no idea where you want to go, doesn't even know how to route you, doesn't know where to stop for gas. It knows nothing. So you do nothing, right? You need to know, why am I doing this? And it has to be so much deeper than the surface level comment of, I want more money. No. Because money doesn't change anything. What do you want from this? Like, really think about, what do you want from this? Number 4, you don't genuinely believe you can do this. If you do not believe that you can get a few customers, that you can offer this business and somebody will take your hand and do it with you, and I'm starting small, right? And that you could make a couple $1,000s a month, or you could potentially be me on a call sharing with, I don't know how many people, right? If you don't believe that that is in your cards, it's not in your cards. It's not. What you believe is, like, whatever you believe is the truth. So you have to realize that you're the one that dictates the narrative and the direction. So if you can see it, you can achieve it, right? And then number 5, you refuse to get uncomfortable. If you are not okay with showing up in hives, breaking out in a sweat, doing a live scared, if you're not okay with that, I mean, that's fine, but don't expect to get very far, right? So what do you have to do? You have to know the bigger picture, but you have to take the step right in front of you. That's it. Stop overwhelming yourself by looking at like market mentor and needing 30,000 volume. Like, no, go for the first rank. Build a block. Get the 4 VIP customers and the 1 market partner. Start with 1 foot right in front of the other. Showing up on your stories, talking on your stories, going live, right? Start with the first step. Letting people know what you have to offer in general. So many of us hide. We start the business and then we hide. We're like, oh, I can't talk about it. I'm too scared to show up. I was too scared to post about the business opportunity. So I was getting traction. I was getting VIP customers. And I was having a lot of conversation around the products, but I was like, I can't understand, why doesn't anybody want to do the business with me? And my mentor was like, Bianca, 1 + 1 is 2. You are not getting business partners because no one knows it's a business opportunity because you don't talk about it. So you have to realize an open mouth is an open business, and you're the one that's showing the way. So if you're never offering the opportunity, you're never talking about another stream of income, you're never talking about the community that you're getting exposed to, you're never bringing these things up, people don't know. We can't make assumptions. We can't assume people know, right? So like I was telling you guys, I literally knew I had a lottery ticket, and it was going to take a lot of me putting in the work for me to get where I wanted to go. Another thing that really helped me, aside from the stories of the success stories, following inspiring people. To this day, I don't care what rank they are. If I see that they're making moves and like they're showing up on their stories and they're posting reels, I want to be around that energy. I want that energy. I don't care if they're on my team or not. I want to be around that vibe, right? Because then that gives me ideas. That gives me inspiration. It shows me how to show up, how I can speak. Nothing is original anymore. So that's the whole point, is that you see it and then you're able to what? Duplicate it. So follow inspiring people. Think about, how are they showing up? Think about your favorite influencer. Like, why do you follow that influencer? Like, what about them is it that you like? Like, how do they speak? How do they post? Like, try to emulate that, right? And then you can't really be afraid of showing up loud and proud and being that girl. When I started the business, I wanted to be that girl. I was like, I remember I went into my first day of class and they were like, oh, everybody like introduce yourselves and say something. And I was not MMB at this point. I was going for MMB. And I got up and I said, hi, my name is Bianca and I sell shampoo. Like super cringe, a lot of embarrassment, obviously, because who wants to get up in front of everybody and like be vulnerable like that? Because you're basically saying like, hey, look at me. Like, hey, watch my Instagram, watch me. I wanted as many people as possible talking about me, because guess what? When someone says, oh, I know this girl that sells shampoo, that doesn't go over someone's head. That's like, that sticks on their head and they're like, wait, what? She does what? She sells shampoo and she makes money doing that? What do you mean? Show me her Instagram. I wanted as many people possible talking about me. And people are the opposite. They don't want anybody talking about them. They don't want I don't care. Whether people are talking good about me, whether they're talking bad about me, they're still talking about me. So let's go, right? So that was kind of like my attitude about it, because I knew that if I did the business right and if I did it consistent enough, that they were going to be curious to eventually ask me or want to do this with me and see what I have to offer them. So yeah, Tone Boss Babe said, give them a show, give them a show. Okay, so another thing that you need to start doing when you're going for the bigger rings, because now we're transitioning from MMB to MM, you need to really start thinking intentionally about your dream team. What does your dream team look like? Like seriously, what qualities do they possess? How do they show up? How do they talk? What are they like? I knew exactly what my dream team was like. You know why? Because I was the dream market partner. So I knew, I was like, I want someone just like me. I want someone who's not afraid to show up, who will do the story posts, who will do the lives, who will do the calls. Like, I want a Bianca. I know there's a Bianca out there. I want her. I'm going to like attracts like. I'm going to find her. Boy, I didn't find one of them. I found like 5 of them. Okay. And that's how my business really blew up. Hold on. I got to take a sip of water because I got notes for days. Okay. So now that we're going from MMB to MM, now you're putting on your business mindset hat. Okay. It's time to break some employee mindset habits, because a lot of us have them because it's all we've ever known. A lot of us have never been business owners. A lot of us have never been in this, newfound boss babe light. I definitely was not. Okay. So the book for this section is going to be Atomic Habits. I don't know if I mentioned the book for the first section, but it was Get Over Your Damn Self by Rumi Kapoor. That is the first book I read. And I was like, ooh, slap, 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 slap. Because she's really talking about direct sales and this industry. And remember what I said, know the industry that you're in, know what's right in front of you. And that's going to help you show up and be excited. And then the other book I did 2 books for this section is The Power of 5 by John Maxwell, which we're going to get into. Okay, so back to the MMB to MM. This one, like I said, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book changed. I wish I would have read it during this period of my life. I didn't get to read it during this time of my life, but it's so good. Okay, so like I was saying before, I feel like what makes this challenging is the fact that we come with a lot of baggage. We have a lot of mental lint that we have to sift through. And those that refuse to do the inner work, they're not meant for entrepreneurship, okay? Because this is what money is. It's entrepreneurship, leaving comfort and leaving what's familiar and stepping into the spotlight that's going to bring to the surface all of your deepest insecurities and all of your negative self-talk, all the things that have held you back for so long. It all comes to the surface when you join something like this, like when you start entrepreneurship. Okay. So you can get ahead in money by doing the active, daily work and the daily tangibles and the tasks and the non-negotiables, but that's only surface level. And that's where people are going to fizzle out and get stagnant when it's time to go within. Like that's when people get stuck, when they do all that. But now, okay, I don't know why I'm not getting ahead. I don't know why I'm still in the same place, because now it's time to dig a little deeper, rewire your brain, focus on building better habits. Like now it's time to do real work. Okay. So what you have to understand is every level has a new devil and some sort of obstacle or roadblock in front of you that you will have to address. And as much as you try to avoid it and as much as you try to go around it, that's why you continue to stay in the same place. If you are in the same place, there is a lesson that you refuse to learn or some sort of roadblock that you refuse to acknowledge. Okay. So now at this point in your business, it's your job to, number one, motivate yourself. It's not your upline's job. It's not anyone's job to motivate you. Okay. So you're in charge of putting yourself in the right mindset every day, whether it's a podcast, a book, having time for yourself. I cannot work this business. I cannot work in general if I do not give myself 1 hour a day with just me. I love me. I love my quiet time. I love nobody talking to me. I love just being with myself and having intentional time with me. If you cannot pour into yourself and take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone, honestly, because you're trying to pour from an empty cup and that's not really going to work out for you. Okay. Number two, you have to start stepping into that leadership role and you have to start hosting calls. Okay. And I feel like this is the one that is the most scary because like you're on the spot now. Like people are listening to you and it's like, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm doing. I feel like this all the time. But what brings me peace is this quote that Tony Robbins said. He said that when you're learning how to play piano, you're playing someone else's keys or work, but soon enough, when you get the hang of it, you come through with your own music and your own sounds, right? So it's just a matter of listening to a podcast and literally repeat whatever the podcast said. That's what I did when I was MM. Like, I would be like, okay, what call do I want? What do I feel like we need to talk about as a team? And I would Google articles and I would find articles and I would, start taking notes. Bam, do a team call like that. Bam, listen to a podcast, take notes, read a chapter, write notes, bam, talk. That's what I would do. I mean, I still do it to this day. And that's what you guys have to realize is you're going to come up with your own thoughts and your own methods and your own way after doing practice and practice and practice and practice. You can't wait until you feel like you're completely ready to start training and start doing calls. Like it's never going to work out like that, right? Number three, you have to start building culture. Okay. I feel like this is one where people are like, they depend on someone else to do it. Like you're going to have your own team at some point. So now it's up to you to start focusing on the culture and the community that is within your organization. And I've learned a lot about this, but we're going to move on to number four. You have to focus on the development of your personal business, not micromanaging everybody else. 80% of your energy and your time needs to be on your content, your blocks, your potential calls, and your enrollments. And I know that's like a hard pill for people to swallow, but if you're spending 80% of your energy on what everyone else is doing and being concerned with what everyone else is doing and trying to work this girl's business on your team and this girl's business on your team, you are slowly putting yourself further and further and further and further behind. And you're not going to realize it until all those people that you were dragging along quit on you. And then what? And then what are you left with? Right? So only 20% of your energy should be focused on everybody else. Okay. Now, number five, take responsibility. And this one is the fact that you have to accept that you can't blame everybody else for your lack of, right? Not your uplines, not your downlines, right? And I feel like I played the blame game a lot when I was stuck at MMB for 6 months before I hit Market Mentor. It was like everyone else's fault. It was not my fault at all. It wasn't me. And guys, that's the wrong mindset. You have to realize that there's things that you're doing, because I was so focused on, again, everybody else and doing everything for everyone, that all that energy was focused on what wasn't working and who wasn't working, instead of how can we make it work? Who can we attract? What can we do differently? You see the difference? So remember, what you focus on expands. And then number 6, say yes to everything. Okay. If you are going for Market Mentor and above, you better be saying yes to everything. Every potential call. I will just never forget. Girls would text me all hours of the day and they'd be like, oh, Bianca, I have this potential. Can we jump on a 3-way? Yes, 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 yes. Live, yes. Call, yes, 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 yes. I was a yes girl. I have to tell you, like, you have to know that you're one phone call away, one live away, one, message away from completely transforming the direction of your business. And that's what I have to say on being a yes girl. Okay. So going further deep into this, I kind of already touched on this, forcing things. I think the biggest thing that we get stuck on is sometimes we feel like we have all the pieces. Like, okay, I, hit MMB or I hit AMM. I already have my managing market builder. I have the market partners, but now it's up to them. And you have to realize it's in their hands and it's up to them wanting it. You can see the potential all day long in other people, but if they can't see it for themselves and they don't want it as bad as you want it, and they are not willing to prove it to you, not with their words, with their actions, you have to move on. Okay, because people have told me all day long, I want to be a millionaire, I want to make X, Y, Z, I want to do this, I want to do that, but I don't listen to what people tell me. I listen and I pay attention to what they do. You have to listen and pay attention to what people do, because all day long, people are going to tell you things. Everyone wants to do things, right? Or say they're going to do things. But you really have to pay attention to people's actions. And again, I feel like this is where it gets really sticky. But it's the period in your business where you have to get grounded and I don't want to say aggressive, but create boundaries. That's a good word. So first thing you guys want to start taking into practice in this phase of your business is getting on the same page with your market partners. Okay. Like setting the tone and the expectations of how you're going to show up for them the way that they show up for themselves. Like I tell all of my market partners, like this business is a 2-way street. I match energy. You show up for you. I'm going to show up for you. You don't show up for yourself. Period. Right. So setting the expectations, letting them know, like you're not here to do the work for them. You're not here to babysit them, but you're here to guide them and provide support. That is what's going to weed out a lot of people and just help you with your stress and like who you spend energy and time with. Because if you're trying to spend the same amount of energy and time with people who have a different perspective and a different way of viewing the business, then it's like you're wasting your energy. It's okay. It's okay for people to want short-term goals. And, maybe they just want to do their smart start. They just want to get the extra bonuses. That's fine. But you can't press on that person and force that person to do X, Y, Z when they don't want that. Right. So that's why I feel like people get all messed up and all stuck, and why this industry gets a bad name is because people try to force their goals and what they want onto other people. And you have to know that there's people out there that want what you want, but you got to go find them and you got to attract them. And you're not going to do it by forcing the poor girl or guy to do whatever you want them to do. Right. That's not this. Okay. That's not this. And I feel like in this point of the business too, I found a lot of people were like hitting MMB and then falling off of the face of the earth. I'm like, okay, so they hit MMB, but now like, where did they go? They like ghosted me. And that's, again, brings me back to what I was saying. You realize who is committed to the long term and who was only here for the short term gains. So you have to, that's why setting the expectations in the beginning and having that conversation in the beginning with your market partners can help you. know where to spend your time and your energy, because you guys are clear and you know why they're starting and how much time they're trying to give this. Okay. So moving on, I want you guys to also remember that all relationships in this business, this has given me a lot of comfort. All relationships in general, there's always one teacher. Okay. So sometimes you're going to be that person for someone, and sometimes the other person is going to be that person for you. And I just want you to know that every single person that comes into your business, if you can look at them in that light, it's going to help you guys grow so much, because everyone has something to learn from one another. I learn things every day from people who come into my business as a new market partner, or from my leaders, right? So you have to remember that everyone has something to teach you. And then what I was going to say here, I have so many notes, but I'm looking at the time and I'm like, oh my God, I've already spoke for 30 minutes. So I'm going to try to sum it up for you guys. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to say in this rank before we get to MMM. The people who get you to MMB, or the people that get you to certain ranks, are not going to be the same people to get you to director. It could be very rare that they do, but I want you to remember that one person can be the doorway and to work levels deep in your business, okay? Because you never know who really truly wants this and who is going to be the market mentor to your director. And I say this because when I hit director, both of my MMs were level 2s. They were not my level 1s. Okay. So you just never know who has the drive, who has the fire, and who you could be working with. You cannot just work with your level 1s. You got to kind of dig deep and look at your numbers and see, like, what are people doing? Who's like getting VIPs? Who's getting market partners? Who's thriving with PV? Let me reach out to them. Let me talk to them. I have something to learn from them, right? Okay. So now we're branching into MM to MMM. Okay. So this is when your mindset is either going to help you excel or remain the same. So you, in my opinion, you need to shift from having a goal-oriented mindset to having a growth mindset. Okay. Stop the whole idea and thought of what do I have to do to get XYZ, and start thinking, who do I need to become in order to let these things in? I wish I could tell this to myself when I was younger. I really do, because this whole concept will change a lot for you, especially when it comes to happiness. So what's a goal-oriented culture? Okay, this is where you value achievement. Growth-oriented culture is where you value development. That's the difference. Achievements versus development. So how do you become a growth-oriented person? Well, all you have to do is shift your mindset. Think about it like this. If you shoot for your goals, if you shoot for your goals, you'll achieve your goals, but you may not grow. If you shoot for growth, you'll achieve your growth and your goals. Okay. In the season of this business, in the several seasons of this business, it's not always going to be a reaping season. And good news, it's not always going to be a planting season. But if in the stillness, you can find the small things to be proud of growth-wise, you're going to find happiness. Because I think the issue sometimes is that people really focus on the rank, people really focus on the money, and they really believe that that's what's going to make them happy. Like, oh, when I get to MM, I'm going to be so happy. When I get the car, I'm going to be so happy. When I get this paycheck, I'm going to be so happy. But you don't realize that you think these things are going to give you value, and it's not. So when it comes to searching for happiness outside of ourselves, that's what you guys need to realize in this business. You don't need something outside of you in order to be happy. So we are the source of our happiness, our joy, our excitement, our creativity, our fulfillment, our freedom. And we have to start moving from places inside of ourselves instead of chasing those things, instead of chasing the rank, chasing the money, chasing the freedom, chasing XYZ, right? There's this quote I love that says, when you move from your freedom, you will create a life of freedom. When you move from excitement, life is exciting. When you move from joy, life becomes joyful. And in this case, it's about the experience. Like, let's have fun. So many people get so caught up comparing their grass to another person's grass, and this girl's doing this and that, and why am I not succeeding, and da 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 da. Have fun. Literally, have fun. I'm at a point in my business where I'm not where I want to be, but at the end of the day, I feel like I'm showing up, I'm making an impact, I'm inspiring someone, I'm having fun. I like the content I'm producing, I like myself, I love me and where I'm at. I am obsessed with my life right now, and I am so happy, even though I'm not where I want to be. And if you guys cannot find the happiness within yourself, it's going to be a hard journey. It's going to be a hard journey. So what are the 7 components of, a fixed mindset and a growth mindset? Let's run through them. Okay, so a fixed mindset, you believe that intelligence is static. You avoid challenges, you give up easily, you feel like effort is fruitless. In other words, it's not worth it. You're going to ignore constructive criticism. You're threatened by the success of others. You plateau early, you achieve less, and you hinder other people from achieving their full potential. This is a fixed mindset. Growth mindset. You believe that intelligence can be developed. You embrace challenges, you're persistent, you welcome and learn from criticism to be better, you find lessons and inspiration in the success of others, you reach higher levels of achievements, and you fuel other people to reach a higher level of achievement. So with all of that said, what are some changes what are some things that we can put into place or consider in order to adopt a growth-oriented culture within our organization? Now, there are 6. Bear with me. Number 1, embrace change. Okay. You can't want improvement while resisting change at the same time. Number 2, adopt a teachable spirit. You need to have a passion to learn, the intention to learn, and to reflect on what you've learned so that you can apply it. Okay. Not just getting on calls. Oh my God, super hype, da, 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 and not applying what you've learned, right? So it's like gardening. A gardener has to do the work to prepare the soil, plant the seed, water the soil, feed the mulch, weed. It's an intentional process that occurs every single day. So you have to make growth your number 1 priority. Be conscious of your need to learn 24/7 and look for growth possibilities in every situation, whether it's a good situation where you're succeeding or a situation where you're failing. The opportunity to grow is always going to be there, but you have to take advantage of it. Okay. So the best thing that you can do to find it is ask questions, file what you learn, save them, regain access, and pass it down, because that reinforces growth. By the way, this all comes from John Maxwell. Number 3, make your love for learning greater than your fear of failing. Failure isn't failure if you learn something from it, okay? And then this is where Maxwell kind of gives a real life example where he went to a conference to speak with, other qualified speakers, and he felt like out of place. He didn't feel adequate enough, and he felt kind of like less than. Everyone was more mature, they were more successful, they were more recognized, more experienced, and seeking reassurance, he confided with one of the best speakers there, and he said, I just don't feel qualified to be speaking here. And the guy told him, well, you're not. Speak afraid, be willing to do it afraid, and eventually you'll be qualified. And that's what he did. He spoke afraid and he did his best. And what you have to know is action is going to be what reduces fear and increases courage. So don't allow failure to be a bully in your life. Make failure your friend. Fail early, fail often, and fail forward. Number 4, develop a relationship with other growing people. This is probably, I feel like, one of the most important things you can do. It's easier to be a growing person when you're in a positive growth environment. If you keep the poker near the fire, it remains hot. If you remove it over time, it gets cold. Stay close to the fire. Stay close to the people that inspire you. Guys, I've been through this. I've been in this business for 5 years. When I stray away from doing calls, from getting on calls, from showing up, I feel so disconnected. And I feel good about what I'm doing when I'm plugged in, when I'm here, when I'm in the fire. So know that that's normal, but know that you also control it. It's your choice whether you want to be by the fire or not. So keep that in mind. Number 5, this is a really good one. Develop greater humility. Okay, it's not denying your strengths, but it's being honest about your weaknesses, unafraid to admit when you're wrong. Leaders that practice humility are confident and feel no need to draw attention to themselves. They're comfortable with themselves, but they acknowledge when they need to improve. They have self-awareness. Oh my God, you have to have self-awareness if you want to grow and if you want people to believe you and follow you and trust you. You have to be self-aware. So they gracefully receive criticism and they're not threatened when others shine. They're happy for them. Are you willing to be criticized for the sake of improvement? Are you willing to admit that you are wrong? Indifference to your desire to change and grow. Are you willing to drop the bad habits, change around your priorities, and embrace new ways of thinking? Okay. Number 6, believe in yourself. Okay. You have to see value in yourself to add value to yourself. What you think about yourself will determine the investment you make in yourself. If you don't think you're worthy, if you don't think you're worth the time, you're not going to invest in yourself. Okay, so I feel like this is so important because he says if your self-worth is low, then your investment in yourself will be low. If you see yourself as a 2 out of 10, then you're going to make a level 2 investment. That matters because your growth return will not exceed the growth of your investment. And I feel like when it comes to believing in yourself, you know, people don't have to believe what you say, but they have to believe that you believe what you're saying and what you're doing, right? That's all it really boils down to. So the book for this, did I say there was a book in the beginning? Yeah, Leadership. This book was a book I read after my first Monations, and it changed everything for me. It really did. So director, this is the point, you know, MMM, director, where you can feel relief. Oh my God, I made it. I'm here, I arrived. And mostly because we don't plan that we're going to get that far ahead. We didn't really think in the beginning that what we were going for was going to come to life, but then you get there eventually, you know, with correcting the mindset, working with intention, leading by example, and then you finally get to take a deep breath, and then maybe, you know, your foot slides off the gas and mistake. That is the biggest mistake that you could possibly make. I am still paying for this mistake because I did this. When I hit SED, MDC, I was like, when I got my first 6-figure check, I was like, bye. I literally made it. I arrived, like everything I worked for. But no one tells you how hard it is to maintain. Everybody talks about how hard it is to get there. No one talks about how hard it is to maintain. Okay, so that's really the conversation that we're going to have here. Okay, so I want you to remember this. And this is something that I ask myself all the time. If your team did what you did today, where would your business be? I want you to rest, but don't stop working. Don't ever stop working. You need to follow these standards. Number 1, re-rank by the 15th. I don't do this. If you can't do this, if you can do this, you have a very healthy business. But if you can't, then you definitely shouldn't be stopping. And this is something that I'm working on. I need to get back to having a really healthy business that allows me to re-rank by the 15th. Right now, it's not cutting it, right? So, you know, think about it. If you can't do that, you need to keep working and sustaining until you can get there. And it's like, going to the gym and having a healthy body. You don't just stop going to the gym when you get the body results that you're working towards. You literally still have to consume the right foods. You know, you still have to show up. You still have to challenge yourself. And guys, this business, that's how it is. That's how it is. And if you don't like what I'm telling you, then don't do the business. So another standard is 5. No, you don't have until the 15th to rank, by the way. But this is a standard I set for directors. 500 PV by the 5th. If you can do 500 PV by the 5th, then that's pretty healthy. You know, you're focused on your business, you're focused on your enrollments, you're focused on your VIP acquisition and retention. That means you're taking care of your business. If you can't get 500 PV by the 5th, then you're probably worried about what everybody else is doing. And that's what you need to focus on, right? Active by the 1st, 200 PV by the 1st. I mean, like I said, it pretty much falls into the 500 PV that we spoke about. This I feel like I was a little lenient on, but at least 1 block per month minimum. Sarah Hill says it, Stuart says it, when you're stuck, build a block. Everybody should be building blocks. A block needs to be a standard. I think it should be 2 blocks, but 1 block. Hosting your own calls, hosting your own events. Like this needs to be a standard. No relying on your upline to do it. No relying on this person and that person and the other person. Like you need to be the one showing up. You need to be the one organizing. You need to be the one getting it together, right? The way you show up from this point on shows other people how to show up. Okay. People will do what you do, not what you say you do. Okay. You are now going to be held to the highest of highest standards. And guys, this comes with so much responsibility. So much responsibility. Okay. When you are getting to this point, I mean, it doesn't get easier. At this point, you're dealing with a lot more people, you're putting out fires, you're handling business, you're strategizing. Like it's a lot of responsibility to get to this rank. So, you know, if you feel like you're not there yet, I want you to know it's probably for a reason. It's probably because you're not ready yet. You're not ready for all that because it's a lot, let me tell you, but it's worth it, obviously. Now, your role here at this rank is to get other people to duplicate what you've done. Okay, you got to director. Now you need to get your girls to director, so that you can get to SED, right? And so now you really need to focus on putting your leaders in the position to grow. Okay, not doing everything for everyone, not doing all the calls, but you know, grabbing them and like, let's do a live together, let's do this call together, let's do this. Like now you're going to be orchestrating and focusing on creating collaboration calls within your team, doing lives with your leaders. And like, I feel like my role is bringing my market partners together so that, especially because a lot of them are in the same phase of the business, and having them work in unison. And I feel like that is what helps also strengthen that community culture. So I want you guys to know that if you're going for any rank, you need to be doing the absolute most. Okay. Don't just do the bare minimum of what's required of you. John Maxwell says, in order to be excellent, you must exceed expectations. So you need to do more than what is expected of you. And I feel like the perfect book for this is The Power of One More. And in the book, he always says, do one more push-up, one more set, one more live, one more call, one more meeting, one more message, one more post. You never know what is waiting for you. I remember I did a live that I didn't want to do, like way back when. And on that live, there just so happened to be a girl who was literally my dream potential. I just didn't know it at the time. And after the live, she reached out to me and she was like, oh my God, I want to do this business with you, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, whoa, I didn't even know this girl was like paying attention to me, following me. I didn't know any of that, right? But doing that live, even though I didn't want to do it, gave me the opportunity to basically sign her up. And she's one of my directors and she's an amazing person. So yeah, you just never know. And then I will leave you with this because I feel like people feel like a broken record. And if that's you, then you're doing your job. Okay. People only understand from their level of perception. So, you know, as people develop their mindset, they're going to hear something different and something is going to stick with them different, even though you've said the same things over and over and over again. This business is about repetition, repeat. And that's why people, you know, get in their heads and they get stuck. That's another reason why, because it's hard to do the same things. It's like easy, but it's hard to do the same things and repeat the same things and over and over and over and over and over again. But you got to think about it like Apple and like iPhone. If Apple can relaunch the same phone every year and be so excited about it and get customers all the time about it and people to buy the product, you can do it too. Okay. I mean, not an iPhone, but you get what I'm saying. You can continue to work the business. You can continue to be excited. That I feel like the repetition part is what really gets people. And that is everything from me. Oh my God, that was so long. I'm so sorry.
No, I mean, I would keep sitting here and just listening to you. Thank you so much, you guys. The chat's been popping off, but drop a thank you. I have to say, like, A, there's a reason that you spoke at Monations. B, and I'm saying this like from the bottom of my heart, I feel like you genuinely are the epitome of a mentor. And I hope that means a lot to you because I feel like no matter when you said that earlier, I felt like when I was just a little AMB and I think I DM'd you and you responded and I was like, yeah, like the fact that you just always pour into people is chef's kiss. So
And wait, can I say something on that? Like, guys, you have to have that attitude and that mindset too, is that like, if I were to only have the mindset, like, I only want to help my girls, I only want to help people that make me money, I only want to help people that benefit me, where do you think that's going to get you in life? Like, I truly believe there's so much abundance and there's so much room for success and there's so much room for everybody to win that I'm okay with just, even if I don't make $1 from this, impacting someone, because that always comes back around. So it all leads back into your intentions when you navigate this business. What is your true intention? Is it truly for you and for your financial gain? Or is it truly to impact someone, make a difference, help someone, make someone feel good, help someone step into their worth? I feel like that is what my everyday goal is. My goal on Instagram is not to get people. I mean, yes, I want people, I want VIPs and I want business partners, but at the end of the day, I want them to like realize that they can do whatever they want to do, and they can step into this same light, even if it's not through Monat and it's through launching their own business. Monat is always going to be a better, option in my opinion. But at the end of the day, that's what I truly want for people. So that's what you have to step into in order to be the best version possible and to get the things that you truly desire and you truly want. It literally is all about your intentions in life. And so a lot of like what I talk about, it's all mindset. Like at the end of the day, you probably realize that everything I said was all going back to mindset, all going back to like attracts like, your thoughts, your intentions. And so if that's something that you have to explore to help you get to the next chapter, into the next phase, then do that. Do the inner work. It's the hardest work you will ever do because it's so embarrassing when you get to the other side. I think about my journey and I think about so many conversations I had and so many things I did that I am so embarrassed about, but you grow up. And if you're not embarrassed about yourself right now, then that means you haven't grown much. So that might be the work that you want to focus on the most. Okay, now I'm done. I'm sorry. I just literally can keep going and going and going.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much. This was amazing. End of the month. I feel like the energy is just going to take off right into April, and we'll see each other in Vegas.
Love it. Thank you guys so much. Bye, Kim.
Talk to you later.